AEW President Tony Khan declines to comment on CM Punk's return to WWE this past weekend at Survivor Series, citing legal reasons for why he can't comment on the former AEW World Champion. Details on that, plus Cody Rhodes reveals what Randy Orton said to him after the Viper returned this past weekend at the conclusion of the Survivor Series War Games match. Jade Cargill opens up on her absence from WWE programming after Triple H talked about her after her signing with WWE earlier this year. Ric Flair makes a bold claim about his daughter Charlotte after her performance at Survivor Series. Being the Elite is no more. BTE has been replaced with Being the Dark Order. We'll give you details on that. Plus, Adam Copeland lists some potential opponents for AEW All In at London's Wembley Stadium next year. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Tony Khan, who has commented publicly for the first time about CM Punk's shocking return to WWE this past weekend at Survivor Series War Games in Chicago, Illinois. Of course, CM Punk's first professional wrestling appearance since he was fired by AEW and Tony Khan earlier this year with cause. Of course, it was only a matter of time before someone got around to asking Tony Khan about CM Punk resurfacing in WWE mere months after he was fired from AEW with cause. Therefore, it's fitting that it would take place during an interview to promote this week's ticket on sale for next year's All In events at Wembley Stadium. Of course, the very event in which CM Punk had his last ever AEW match, that being in the opening contest of the show against Samoa Joe, and also the very same event where a CM Punk backstage incident involving himself, Jack Perry, an incident that maybe made Tony Khan fear for his life, Tony Khan's own words, occurred, leading to said AEW exit and said firing with cause of both his AEW contracts by Tony Khan. During an interview for BBC West Midlands, Khan was asked for a comment about CM Punk's surprise appearance at WWE Survivor Series War Games over the weekend in Chicago. As has become Khan's standard approach when pressed on any of AEW's less than ideal situations behind the scenes, he passed on the opportunity to discuss things further, citing legal reasons for why he couldn't comment on it. Take a look at this.
I have to ask you about CM Punk. Of course, he was at All In, and his last appearance for AEW was at All In at Wembley Stadium. We've now seen him appear at WWE Survivor Series at War Games. Were you surprised to see him there?
Can't talk about that, nor do I think it's the time or the place, but I appreciate you asking, and I'm very excited about AEW All In Wembley Stadium. Not to dodge or duck your question, it's just not something I can legally talk about.
Now, very few details are known publicly regarding the terms of Punk's departure from AEW or any arrangements made following his AEW All-Out brawl with the Elite back in 2022. There's also very little details regarding NDAs or any kind of legal situation involving his exit from All Elite Wrestling, as well as his backstage altercation with Jack Perry at All In at London's Wembley Stadium earlier this year. As I mentioned, NDAs protecting involved parties from being disparaged have been rumoured in both circumstances, and if in existence, would explain Khan's frustrating lack of forthcomingness on both matters. As a result, one shouldn't expect to hear anything more in-depth from Khan on the matter, as both sides seem keen to move on from their perceived bitter divorce. Now, when it comes to CM Punk in WWE, we've actually got some more details and some more information regarding Punk and the general feeling backstage in World Wrestling Entertainment right now. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has said that many WWE talent expect to speak to higher-ups and gain some reassurances about Punk and how he will be in the company moving forward. As far as AEW, Tony Khan reportedly seemed more concerned Saturday night about losing Katsuyori Shibata than CM Punk heading to WWE. The majority of the reactions that Fightful have gained within AEW is people asking about how the reaction within WWE has been. And the answer to that is much more tepid than originally expected, just as really was the case when Punk came back for AEW for Collision earlier this year. In both WWE and AEW, there had been people that said they didn't want to work with him and would consider leaving, but Fightful have heard of no release requests from people in AEW, and now WWE connected to the Punk return. There were top WWE talent asking some in AEW if Punk was involved in the AEW Devil storyline as recently as last month or so. Punk was never discussed for that. While the Punk appearance was a closely kept secret in WWE, Punk had told, or at least hinted to a couple of people close to him, some close friends, that indeed he was going back to WWE. Now, WWE ended up using renders from Punk's last run in the company and the same Titantron video from that era. Fightful have reportedly asked a source at Peacock about the playlist of Punk content that was added, and they were actually told that that takes relatively no time to put together. There were some guidelines given on how to address Punk chants for SmackDown and Survivor Series, which was to ignore them as best as possible. Now, Fightful say they can confirm there was a real offer put together for CM Punk by Impact/TNA, as Ibo of Wrestle Purist mentioned recently. Fightful spoke to several associated with the company this weekend that said he was well liked during his visits there and was told that the door always remains open to him. There had been some friends of Punk's that thought that was a real possibility before the talks with Triple H had started around 10 days ago or so. Those close to him fully believed that he would wrestle again, and when it looked like the door wasn't open for a return, it seemed like an option to go to TNA if indeed Punk wanted it. Now, when it comes to his return this past weekend, it's also been reported by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select that there were some actually WWE superstars being filmed backstage for their reaction to Punk's return, and some actually greeted him backstage as well, which reportedly was filmed for WWE Digital. Two specific names that have been mentioned are Kofi Kingston, who previously held the WWE World Tag Team Championships with CM Punk back in 2008 on Monday Night Raw, in addition to Bayley, who has a close relationship with CM Punk and his wife AJ Lee. Obviously, Punk is back tonight on Monday Night Raw, and it's going to feature, as I mentioned, the return of Randy Orton too, but I guess what a lot of people are talking about is CM Punk's first appearance on the show in almost 10 years. Now, it's safe to say that the upcoming episode has a lot of intrigue surrounding it. Furthermore, the show's general manager, Adam Pearce, has shared another exciting announcement on X today, saying, quote, Monday Night Raw, huge coming from Nashville tonight, Pearce said in the announcement. Randy Orton is back, and so is CM Punk, and just for you, the first hour on USA Tonight, commercial free, only on USA. Some big questions regarding the fallout from Survivor Series War Games will hopefully be answered on this week's episode of The Red Brand. CM Punk's return led to Seth freaking Rollins lashing out at the end of the pay-per-view, and he followed up by criticizing Punk at Sunday's WWE live event. On top of that, Drew McIntyre reportedly stormed out of Survivor Series in a fit of rage, and many viewers will be tuning in with the hopes of seeing those rumors addressed more substantially. With all of the drama that are going into this week's show, it's easy to forget that other WWE superstars are in action. Tonight's episode would also feature a title match as Chelsea Green and Piper Niven will defend the Women's Tag Team Championship against Tegan Nox and Natalya. Plus, it's highly likely that new challenges will emerge for the brand's other titles as well. A reminder, we are going to be doing a live watch-along and a live post-show for tonight's edition of Raw, so if you wish to join us, you can do so. We will be live just before the show goes on the air, so be sure to click the notification bell. You'll be notified, indeed, when we go live. Now, let's talk about Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton after they reunited this past weekend at Survivor Series. Now, this past weekend wasn't just the return of CM Punk, it was also the return of Randy Orton competing inside of a WWE ring for the first time in 18 months. And Cody Rhodes has revealed what he and Randy Orton said to each other following their War Games match at Survivor Series this weekend. Rhodes and Orton were reunited at the November 25 Premium Live event, where they teamed with Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn to defeat Damian Priest, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, and Drew McIntyre. The former Legacy teammate shared a moment after the bout, and Cody Rhodes has now confirmed what was said. During the post-show press conference, Rhodes noted that Orton thanked him for the phone call. Opening up about his relationship with Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes said, quote, "At the end of the match, Randy said to me, thanks for the phone call, and I wanted to tell him, thanks for my career. I keep thinking this is going to end, and I couldn't have gotten to where I had got to had I not been around Randy. Randy is so wild and chaotic, and you hear all these funny stories with him about all this nonsense, but as a performer, a professional wrestler, WWE superstar, what an outstanding mentor he was to me, truly. I'll never forget standing in the ring at the Royal Rumble when he won, pointing at the star, the WrestleMania sign, and just thinking, I want to be like him. That's as nice as I'm going to get about him. I was really touched." Of course, Randy Orton also advertised for Monday Night Raw tonight. As I mentioned, we will be doing that watch-along and post-show. Now, one of the bigger comments actually coming out of the post-show were Triple H's comments on new WWE signing Jade Cargill, and she has addressed her ongoing absence from WWE television following Survivor Series via a new post on social media. After making her first appearance at Fastlane on October 7, the former AEW star made a string of cameos on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT through the month of October, but has not been seen again on TV in over a month. With many questioning her whereabouts, Triple H was posed the topic at Survivor Series in the post-show press conference, to which she answered, quote, "I have no less belief in her now than I did when she signed with WWE. It's interesting, when she came in, we talked about her development and where she would land. I want to make sure whatever is thrown at Jade Cargill, she's ready. And at no fault of her own, I think she was limited in that, right? The idea is we exposed her and made her be seen. People are understanding and waiting, and they're excited for her to come. And when she does, it's going to be massive. I just think we're just making sure that she's ready. I don't want a pitch to be thrown at her that she's never been before or she's never seen as well. I want, no matter what that pitch is like, for her to crack that thing out of the park. You can just see it in her. That's the presence she has. That's the star she is. You've yet to see her do anything in WWE, and yet I could probably name 5-10 people here where you'd go, wow, that's a dream match without her doing a thing, so I'm in no rush. Well, now, Cargill herself has provided some clarity on her status by way of a new post on Twitter, to which she said, quote, "Also, like I said, it's on my time." Now, with the Royal Rumble just around the corner, many fans are speculating that the former AEW TBS champion could perhaps debut in that match. Where would you like to see Jade Cargill debut? What brand would you like to see her be on? And would you actually like to save her for the Royal Rumble at this point? Let me know your thoughts about that too. Now, Ric Flair, he's never been shy of bigging up his daughter, Charlotte Flair, and he's done so again after her performance at Survivor Series. Ric Flair has heaped massive praise on his daughter, Charlotte Flair, following her performance in the Women's War Games match at Survivor Series. Taking to Twitter, the Nature Boy posted a clip of Charlotte's impressive moonsault spot off the top of the War Games cage onto all the other participants. Captioning the post, Flair said, quote, "In a league of her own, at Charlotte Flair." Now, interestingly, despite now being signed to AEW, Ric Flair would get a mention elsewhere on Survivor Series, with Michael Cole name-dropping the 16-time world champion during the Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and The Miz. Now, that wasn't the only mention of an AEW contracted talent either, as many others were curiously mentioned on commentary, including Chris Jericho, Sting, and also Jon Moxley as well. Charlotte and her team successfully defeated Damage Control in the match, with Bayley taking the pin to score the victory for the babyface team. Now, many fans have speculated this could potentially spell doom for Bayley's future in the Damage Control faction, with tensions already apparent since Kairi Sane and Asuka joined the group. So let me know what you think is going to happen when it comes to Bayley. Certainly an interesting one that many people are interested in. Now, this is quite an interesting story when it comes to being the elite, because being the elite is no more, and in its place is being the Dark Order. For the last month, being the elite has changed formats, with smaller clips being uploaded as opposed to full-length episodes. On November 20, Brandon Cutler said that the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson, were finished with BTE. Well, today, on November 27, the first episode of Being the Dark Order was uploaded, as the Dark Order have now taken over the show. Fans can watch the show on the YouTube channel. Now, it's currently unknown when the Young Bucks will return to AEW television. They're in the middle of a heel turn after their loss to the Golden Jets at Full Gear. Now, when it comes to the history of Being the Elite started in 2016 as a travel vlog for the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, before turning into an episodic show with running bits and gags that also helped set up matches and segments for the first All In as well as AEW programming. So, are you surprised to see the end of BTE? Do you think it actually is the end of Being the Elite? Do you think we'll see it come back eventually? What are your thoughts on Being the Dark Order instead? Let me know your thoughts about that as well. Finally, as I mentioned, All In tickets are coming on sale this week, and Adam Copeland will be at the event, and he's spoken about who he could potentially face inside Wembley Stadium. AEW star Adam Copeland has teased a huge first-time ever match for AEW All In London 2024, naming possible opponents for next year's show. With the former Edge only joining AEW in October, there are still so many stars on the roster who he hasn't shared the ring with. While promoting the upcoming All In London ticket pre-sale, Copeland pointed out that this will be his first time performing in Wembley Stadium. Interested in having a first-time ever bout at the August 25, 2024 show, Copeland took to Twitter to name several potential opponents for the event. Copeland tweeted, quote, "My first AEW All In is next year, my first time performing in Wembley Stadium, maybe a first-time ever match, Moxley, Omega, Ospreay, Malachi, Miro, Swerve, MJF, Hobbs, the possibilities, man. It's hashtag AEW All In London on sale week. If you pre-registered or are in an AEW VIP, check your email for a unique code to buy tickets now before anyone else. On sale this Friday, December 1st at 9 a.m. GMT. Be part of history because I plan on adding to my history at Wembley Stadium. Now, Copeland recently made his AEW pay-per-view debut, teaming with Sting and Darby Allin to defeat Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne in trios action. So who would you like to see the former Edge face off against at All In? Let me know your thoughts about that. But there you go, guys. It's the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak for you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.